Welcome to the Scale Model Podcast. In this podcast, we aim to entertain, inform, and promote the hobby of scale model kit building with interviews, reviews, and news about the hobby. The Scale Model Podcast is recorded bi-weekly and is available where your favorite podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher, as well as on our website at scalemodelpodcast.com. If you enjoyed the podcast, please consider leaving a review. It does help to get our shows out to more modelers. We also publish extra video content and complete episodes on our YouTube channel. Feel free to like and subscribe to the Facebook page at www.facebook.com/scalemodelpodcast. There's also a Patreon page at www.patreon.com/scalemodelpodcast. Your Patreon support helps us cover hosting costs and gives you access to extra content as well as prize giveaways. Okay, you should see a recording now on your side of the fence. Do you see one?
Yep.
Okay. So, in 5, 4. Welcome to episode 46 of the Scale Model Podcast. Yeah. Another coffee. Maybe one of these nights, I just know it. All right. In 5, 4. Welcome to episode 46 of the Scale Model Podcast, sponsored by Goodman Models. I'm one of your hosts, Stuart Clark, and I'm here via Skype with the man, the myth, the legend, the one who always seems to be able to get the most difficult people to come out. Next week, we might actually have Elvis make an appearance, Mr. Anthony Goodman.
Hi, Stu. How are you this evening?
Not bad. We're still in our COVID lockdown, shall we say.
Together in spirit.
Together in spirit. Not only that, we had snow yesterday. And I saw a great cartoon from Steve Neese. He's a regular political cartoonist for a lot of major papers, and he had one yesterday. And I quote, 2020 in a nutshell. A self-isolated, jobless Canadian in a COVID mask attacked by murder hornets while shoveling snow in May.
Oh, yeah, the murder hornets.
That just pretty well covers it all, right there, eh? Exactly.
Yeah, it's been too chilly.
Oh, yeah.
I got outside today. I got outside, fixed some stuff.
Here in Canada, we have what we call Victoria Day coming up. It's a bank holiday weekend, long weekend for those who don't know what a bank holiday weekend is. And of course, as traditional, it's going to piss with rain. 60% chance, my friend, all through the weekend.
Great.
So, 20 degrees though. So you can have the windows open and watch the rain while you're inside.
There's the sun.
I know, exactly. Give it time. One more frost warning tonight, and then it should get better. But in the meantime, let's not worry about such things. Let's get on. So first of all, I have to open with a mea culpa to Mike and Dave at our wonderful friends in Kentucky who do an awesome website. Mike and Dave. Mike and Kentucky Dave, we should say. And they're at the podcast called the Plastic Model Mojo. At least the last 2 times, and I know my compatriot on the bench has done the same thing. We end up calling them Scale Model Mojo, and it's just a slip of the tongue. So Mike sent me the most hilarious email the last time, and all in good humor. And it was really good. So now I've actually got, at the trailing end of the show, in my show notes, it actually says Plastic Model Mojo in bold. And if I say the wrong thing and Anthony doesn't catch it, Mike and Dave, it's his fault.
I'm going to slap you on the wrist through the internet.
There you go. So Plastic Model Mojo. And I noticed Mike, our good friends in Australia at On the Bench, they actually corrected it too for their show on the weekend. So there we go. So apologies to them. I will drink a toast to some modeling fluid for them, and away we go. Okay, we're going to start off with a Mighty Micro Macross giveaway. This is another giveaway.
Yes.
For all our supporters. This is
I've lined up some good ones.
You have. This is sponsored by Return to Kit Form. And we're going to be giving away the 148 VF1.
That's the Do You Remember Love?
Love. Thank you. I had a brain fart there.
Type.
Yeah. The canopy mask. Yep. DRYL canopy mask from Return to Kit Form. I had the 72nd one for the Valkyrie I finished. It was absolutely awesome. So all you got to do on this one is you got to send us an email to scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com of a Macross build, either a work in progress or a completed build. And then again, we'll just randomly put them in the virtual hat we will draw a virtual number, and you will actually get a real prize. It won't be a virtual prize. Sent out personally from Goodman Heavy Industries.
Yep.
Okay, and then we also have to thank our latest Patreon supporter, Christopher Stark. Thank you for your support.
Thank
Hmm?
That's a thank you. Thanks,
Oh,
Chris.
okay. Yep.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. And again, there'll be another. The next prize competition will be an exclusive for our Patreon supporters.
Yes.
We should also say we do have episode 2 of Bench to Bench. That's been available as a 1-week preview for our Patreon supporters, and I'll be actually releasing it to the public probably later on tonight because it's been a week.
Excellent.
So,
yeah. I think that I'm going to do the next one soon.
Yeah. So those have been working very well, and so
Good.
yeah, keep an eye on that. Okay, mailbag. We're gonna get right to the mailbag. Our good friend Eric Flynn. So Eric wrote a couple of weeks ago about air compressor advice, and I posted his question to Facebook, and we talked about it here, and he got a ton of suggestions and ideas. So he did a follow-up. Hello, gents. I really wanted to thank you and the people on Facebook for the air compressor advice. I really appreciate it. I actually found what I was looking for this past week at a local shop, and it was $80 off bonus.
Nice.
It
Excellent.
gave me a chance to put together an old monogram Battlestar Galactica Viper. Built it straight out of the box with only basic painting. No weathering applied, as I wanted to get back into airbrushing. Use Pledge Floor Shine, used to be called Future Floor Polish, for a clear coat. I've done that. I actually had that kit many moons ago.
Oh yeah.
Decals are sold. They were breaking, but the kit was fun to build and good practice. Needs a flat coat, but that is on order. Now to build something with a bit more of a challenge and add all the weathering. Next up is an ME-163 Comet. This one will be showcase worthy. He also included a picture, which I will put up in the show notes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, okay. Well, Eric, we're really glad. Feel free to send us some pictures of that build or post it to the Facebook page when you have it done. Okay, and then some late breaking one. I got an email today from Daniel Baxter. Hi, I am helping spraygunner.com with a new event and competition group, and they'll be running a competition in the near future where modelers will be asked to post photos of a build that will be painted using mission model paints. Prizes will be airbrushes and paint sets. I was wondering, he asked us if we can post a link to the competition page on Facebook. So I've done that. Spraygunner.gun, they're an outfit out of Florida, I believe, in the US, and it looks like they carry a large selection of airbrushes, spray guns, paints, all sorts of things. So if you want to spray colored chemicals out of an airbrush, looks like they're definitely a place to check out. And they're down in Oldsmar, Florida. And 1-800 number you can buy online, etc. So there we go. So check it out. Make sure you join the group, and there should be some information coming fairly soon about it. All right.
Sounds like fun.
Yep. Okay. Latest hobby announcements. Again, another busy week. We have 6 releases by our friends at Atalery in May. I believe all but one of these is a repop, but there is some exciting ones. So they have a Hurricane Mark 1 in 1/48 scale. This is definitely a repop. It's an older mold, but looks like they've got some brand new decals. I've heard mixed reviews on this one over the years. I still maintain the brand new Airfix is still the best, but if I recall, this one was, it was all right. It was actually pretty good, and it's a good basic build. 20.5 centimeters rough wingspan. You get a couple of basic sprues. The clear parts look good.
Photo
and it
etch.
also includes photo etch and pilot
nice.
parts. So pretty basic one, but there you go.
I mean, how old would this be, would you
This
think?
one, I believe, when I looked it up, it's about 20 years old, the mold.
Okay.
It's around a bit. It's basically brand new decals. Our friends at ScaleMates can give you the whole story. Now, this one here I know is definitely a repop because I built this when I was a kid. This is the 1/12 scale F104G cockpit by Atalery. So this is just the cockpit section in a large 1/12 scale. They also built an F-16 one.
Yes, I remember those.
This is pretty cool. So it's just the cockpit, but it's like big. So bore, every button, all sorts of things. So this was originally released in 1983, and they have re-released it a
Huh.
couple times over the years. It's a
So,
very interesting subject.
yeah, what do you like? You mentioned you built this kit. Was it an easy kit to build? Was it more
It wasn't bad.
fiddly?
It was fiddly in some sections. Again, there's a lot
Hmm.
of parts, but
Yeah.
124 parts. But it's really cool if you want to like accurately, detail. It comes with a pilot's helmet and an oxygen mask.
Oh yeah.
On the helmet, you get a visor, gun sight, and radar scope.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, I remember this, and it was a fun little kit to build. It was really good for challenging. Like at the time, I was using a lot of dry brushing techniques.
Yeah.
But it comes with a cool little stand and stuff like that. And I'm
Yeah.
sure somewhere for either this or the F-16, someone probably using resin or who knows what built a 1/12 kit to go around it. I'm sure. I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
just as a
I'm
homebrew.
I'm curious if it's how far the accuracy goes on this. Did they really kind of nail
Oh,
it?
it was pretty good, if I recall.
Yeah.
Again, it's been a long
Close.
time
Mm-hmm.
since I built this because I probably built this in 85, 86.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it
As
was
a
good.
young
The
lad.
as a young one. I always remember one of the squadron signal catalogs from that era had the F-16 one on the cover. And when it
Yes,
was
I
rated,
remember that. Yes.
that one, yeah, a lot of people seem to
Yeah.
remember that one. So yeah, it was very much a unique thing at the time, and yeah, very, very, very cool. If you've got a lot of yellow and red paint to use up, this is the kit to use it on.
That's cool. Yeah,
Hey,
that's an interesting idea. At least it'd give you a better idea if you go through the exercise of building it, and you could know what you should be adding in or leaving out in your
yep, yep.
smaller scale builds, right? When you get to 72nd and
Well, and
48.
this is what you realize. You look at what you're seeing here at
Yeah.
1/12, and then you stand
Yes.
5 feet away, and what starts
What
to
pops
hide, and
out?
yeah, and you know what's going to hide as you go to the smaller scales.
Yeah. I like
Exactly.
that
So
idea.
yeah,
That's cool. That's a neat idea, actually. I
yeah,
like
I
that.
like it. I like it. So next up, 135th scale, an Opel Blitz radio truck. Again, this is a repop.
Huh?
So this is the main truck used by the German forces using the Second World War. Um, so this one basically is the back end's a lot like basically a Radio Shack. So you've got four different versions for various campaigns. So you got one in the Ukraine in June 41, Normandy July 44, Southern Russia in 42. So yeah, sorry, I should say three parts. But yeah, very, 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 very popular. Again, it's an older kit, but it still builds up fairly well. Next up,
Mhm.
124th, and I'm pretty sure this one's a brand new tool because I couldn't find any other information. Again, I'm not a big truck guy, so I could be mistaken, but this is a truck. It's the MAN F8 124 scale. MAN is the name of the German manufacturer. It's a very popular truck in Europe.
Mhm.
So it's basically one of the things they talked about is they had a made in Germany powertrain, and the cabin was designed and produced in France by Savium, which is a French company. So it was kind of a country combination.
Yeah.
Good looking decal sheet, ton of different license plates, stuff like that.
Yeah. Colorful.
Um, yep, yep, lots of good detail sprues underneath. So again, something for the truck guys.
It's
So yeah, it
awesome.
looks pretty cool. Next up is a repop of the Henkel HE-111H medium bomber in 1/72nd scale.
Mhm.
So again, this was part of the backbone of Luftwaffe early war, very famous during the Battle of Britain.
Mhm.
They have 5 decal versions for this time, 1939, 1940, 1942, a couple for those, including one of them actually is actually the torpedo bomber. And it looks like it's got some of the extra
Yeah.
ordnance from what I see here. So that will be kind of
Oh,
cool.
I like
Yeah,
that they in these schemes they've given you the specific the actual aircraft like this
yeah,
the one shot down near Edinburgh October
yeah,
1939, one of them stab leader Battle of Britain. That's kind of neat. So they've actually
yep,
done a little bit of the research for you. Or
yep,
set you on the
mhm,
right way.
yep. Very cool. Nice looking sprues.
Mhm.
So yeah, it does come with the torpedoes and the bombs from what I can see on the sprue count. So it looks good.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Okay, another one. This one's also another brand new. This is a new mold, and this is 156 scale. So this is a gaming scale.
Okay.
So this is an Italian tank, if I recall. This is the Semoventi M13/40 or the M14/41, M40, M41. So basically, this is like a single model with a tank. It was kind of the earlier design, 47 millimeter gun had it on it. Bunch of different
Mhm.
schemes, but as I say, this is and there's a bunch of different ones that looks like they're producing here. But
Mhm.
as I said, they're all in gaming scale, which is 156. You don't see a lot of stuff in that scale. So again, it's between 148th and 172nd, obviously.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm sure for the wargamers, and they've done some other stuff in this scale. So it's not unusual for them. And again, I don't know much about Italian tanks, but it looks like it can
Yeah.
build up fairly well. Fairly simple construction. If you look at the sprue shots, the bogies are attached to the
Yeah.
sides and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But at least the demo they're showing, it's painted up quite nicely. And this
Yeah.
this has two different kits, I should say. So
Oh,
yeah,
there's an interior in
yeah, I know. Eh? How about that for fiddly?
yeah, that's pretty interesting. They do look, it's a very nice demo build up there. I mean, I think that would be tough. But, maybe listeners out there enjoy these and they're a pleasure to build.
Yep,
Hopefully.
exactly. Well,
Hopefully
and
that's the case.
156 isn't that far from 148. So if you build
Yeah.
some 148 and you can't find this in that scale, it might be a good one to check out. Okay, moving on. We're going to move on with Hobby Boss. Some new releases. So their first one is their Corsair Mark III in
Hmm.
148 scale. This was actually the F3A1 or the F3A1D. It was called the
Oh,
Corsair
yeah.
Mark III by the Fleet Air Arm, but this one was actually the designation for the Brewster-built F4U1. So Brewster was an aircraft company that obviously made the Buffalo,
Hmm.
which wasn't very successful, and later on they had a lot of labor issues. So in the end,
Hmm.
the Navy tried to take it over, and then after that, it just didn't work. So they folded the company. And the problem was there was some very poor quality wing fittings. So these aircraft were redlined not to go over a certain speed, and you couldn't do aerobatics because if you're doing
Oh.
aerobatics, sometimes the wings would fall off.
Oh.
That's not good.
Favorite of pilots
I
everywhere.
don't think that's good. Yeah, exactly. So it does come with a couple of schemes for Fleet Air Arm aircraft. Look very
Hmm.
attractive. So now none of these actually did reach frontline units.
Oh,
Um,
wow. So this is
yeah,
kind of a failure, really, as an
well, it was
aircraft.
kind of this particular manufacturer made this design. It's like during the war, the Sherman would have been built out like a Chrysler plant, a Ford plant.
Yeah.
This particular
Yeah.
manufacturer. So, but still, looks like it's got all the right details. If you're a
Yeah.
Corsair fan, this is probably going to be one you're going to want. 240 parts, clear parts
Yeah.
of the canopy. Engine with fine detail, detailed gear cabin. So yeah,
Hmm.
all in all, looks
It's
pretty good.
interesting kind of like a side note for Corsair
Yeah.
lovers,
Well,
right?
and you know what? At some point, I want to build a Fleet Air Arm or a New Zealand Corsair at some point.
Cool.
So yeah, yeah. So these are definitely getting close. New Zealand would have used a couple of these too.
Yeah, neat.
Next up, 135th scale. This is a North Korean ballistic missile launcher, or they're making up for something. One of
Oh
the
my
two.
goodness. Wow.
Yeah, this is known
The
as the KN-15 by intelligence agencies. It's a
Puck Duck
medium
Song
range,
2.
yeah,
Yeah.
intermediate range ballistic missile. It's under development. Apparently, it's rumored to be nuclear capable. The first test
Right.
flight was just only a couple of years ago, in 2017. So
Yeah,
traditional.
terrifying all it didn't it fly over
Well, I
Japan,
don't know if it was.
mainland Japan?
I don't know if it's this particular one, but they have had stuff that does that.
I remember that there was an interesting story about one of the tests when they were
Yeah,
heavy into testing. It was 2017.
yeah,
And they were obviously trying to agitate Japan, and they flew one right over.
yep, yep,
Certainly in Japanese waters, but oh
yep.
my goodness.
So this is very similar to some Chinese and Russian designs where
Yeah,
it
of
carries the
course.
thing in, it lifts the missile up, everyone ducks, and away we go. Um, yeah, so basically lots of different sprues. Looks like a fairly detailed build. 362 millimeters in length, 102 millimeters in width, so not bad. 930 parts, 23 screws, including some photo etch. So
Wow.
yeah.
And window masks, which is a nice.
And window mask, photo etch.
Huh?
I'm sure the tracks are individual links with that sort of part count.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 930 parts, I would think so.
Yeah, Indie Links.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, those are available very, very soon, if not already, from your Hobby Boss distributor.
Yeah, no kidding, eh? I'm curious about all listeners out there. Like, is this on your build list?
Some people like it. Like,
Is anybody
a lot
rushing
of
out
people that like Russian or Chinese armor. And again, I've said before, these sort of vehicles always look like great candidates for like kit bashing into something sci-fi.
Oh,
They just look very, just the way they are.
Terrifying.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's part of the appeal, right? Of certain things, right? Nazi Germany, hardware, and other kind of, bad guys.
It's the technology and stuff like that. Okay, moving on with ammo. They got a bunch more products out as always. Both ammo and AK, they just seem to just keep producing all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
So their latest April announcements, they've got the Encyclopedia of Figure Modeling Techniques, 30 euros, 112 pages. So looks like volume 2. Appropriate focuses on the most appropriate materials, procedures, and techniques for bringing a miniature to life in painting.
Cool.
Once we have learned the elements of visual language, such as color, lighting, shape, and texture, in the first volume, it is time to learn about the painting techniques that allow us to apply these elements to the figure at scale. And again, as usual, beautifully illustrated. Obviously, they're using MIG paints and supplies, but I'm sure you could use whatever. It's more about teaching the technique and, again, as usual,
concepts.
Just amazing work. These figure painters just do absolutely amazing things.
That's very cool.
Yes, moving on, we've got some more paint sets. So Splinter Camouflage set. Looks like we've got for just under 14 euros, 6 bottles designed for figures. So German Camouflage includes 6 bottles. They also have a set for World War II Imperial Japanese Navy aircraft. What else do we have here? And then they have some decals, high quality print and definition decals.
Interesting.
So, it uses the special Ultra Decal set and Ultra Decal fix products. So looks like a bunch of different ones. T34 B decals. A lot of this is like to personalize it, like there's little logos, various countries. So it's designed for one type of kit. Next one's the Panzer I.
Oh, I think they're saying that they
10
want
different schemes.
They want you to buy their
they're recommending their
Ultra Decal set and Ultra Decal fix.
So this works
the best.
So the first one gives you 9 different schemes for a T34B. Second one gives you 10 schemes of the Panzer I.
Yeah, sorry, Stu, that's the T54B.
Oh, sorry, not the T34. Sorry, my apologies.
T54.
And then they've got one called Panzer Division's World War II decals. All the symbols and tactical markings used by the German Panzer divisions. With this set, you'll be able to place the correct symbols and tactical markings on your models of any German armored vehicle. So that's kind of cool. So if you want to make an exact, like, platoon 2, tank 3 sort of thing.
Oh, they add a couple interesting. They've got a Chinese one and 5 from the Spanish Civil War?
Yeah, that's the Panzer I. Yeah, that's the Panzer I scheme. Yeah, because they were used all over the place. Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then they have their solution book, and this is the solution book that originally came with the solution pack that was released last year. So this is the How to Paint Imperial Galactic Fighters, and if you look at the logo, you'll know it. You know what they're talking about. They're just avoiding the name so that they don't get sued. Yeah. But 72 pages, just under 10 euros. These solution books are great. And as I said, it basically came out of the original set that you would get all the paints and all the materials they describe. They've always said they were. Well, no, they've released for the other ones. They've always said they'll always release the book separately in a couple of months after. So they've done this for their other ones. So this is.
Okay. This is number 5 in the series.
Yeah. So this is just coming right on time. Cool. But yeah, very, very cool. If you want a specific subject, they're really great. So all those are available at MIG right now. So definitely worth checking out.
Hmm.
Okay, moving on. I found this one. This is from Iroquois Models. There's some new items. I know some of the Canadian modelers will be interested. So these
Mhm.
are available from a eBay shop out of the UK, mastercasters.co.uk. So I've
Mhm.
just put a link here to their Facebook page, but they have things like for the Avro Aero, the Martin Baker Mark V ejection seat, the exhaust, the intakes, all sorts of things
Oh
for that.
wow.
And then you've got the ejection seat for the CF-100, for the
Cool.
CF-104 Starfighter, the CF-104D Starfighter, and for the wheels for the kinetic kit. So if you're a Canadian fighter modeler and you're putting some of these ones together, these resin
Yeah.
sets might be worth
Well,
checking out.
I think those hobbycraft kits are they're desirable due to the rarity of the subject, but they're fairly dated kits, right? So
They're fairly dated, but they're still pretty
yeah,
good build. But again, yeah, there's definitely
they need a little love and tender
yeah,
care, I think, because
exactly.
I have the Snowbird kit, like the Tudor,
Oh, the tutor,
and
yes.
it's like there is no other Tudor kit as far as I know, except for
Hmm.
there was a
Hmm.
72nd 48. Oh, I'd love to get a
Exactly.
little bit of you know what I
Yep.
mean, like a cockpit or the whatever, you know what I mean,
Yep.
for
Yep.
to
So
dress it
definitely.
up.
Yep, definitely
Cool.
check it out. So yeah, so
Very cool.
that's from Iroquois Models, and again, you can order them through that one source, and I'm pretty sure I've seen them at Hannon's as well. So you can probably
Nice.
find them at other places too. Okay, moving on. Arma Hobbies. We're actually going to have an interview with them the next show,
Yes. Yeah.
but they have officially put their latest 72nd scale kit on
Yeah.
pre-order. This is the FM2 Wildcat. You
Mhm.
can right now pre-order the expert set as well as some oversprues.
Mhm.
And then the normal kits are going to be coming out, they say soon, but you can definitely pre-order the full-on expert set, which includes all the goodies. Plus, they have some extra decals if you want to do that now. Now, if
Mhm.
it's anything as good as their Hurricane kit was, this is going to be a great kit.
Yeah. I just had the most amazing time with that interview, and I think that they really put a lot of effort into making a really nice experience for a model
Yep,
build because they're
yep,
model builders themselves first and foremost. And
yep.
yeah, it's I think it's going to be quite the thing.
Yep. So we're looking forward to that.
I'm almost
And
tempted to
yeah,
build it.
yeah, yeah. It's only a couple of guys in the company. It's a very small outfit,
Hmm.
but they're doing some really good stuff and they're making good partnerships. So you can also through their own web store, you can also pre-order the Yahoo instrument panel for it, as
Yes.
well as the seat belts, and they've got some Hataka paint sets as well. So you
Hmm.
could basically get everything you need. And these Yahoo instrument panels, I've
Yeah.
spoken of them quite highly before because I have them for a lot of my RAF stuff. They are
Yes.
absolutely awesome. Quick little photo etch, boom, you're done. So yeah,
Awesome.
this will be fun. I'm not a U.S. Navy guy, but I know there's a lot of people that are looking forward to this. And
Yeah.
as I said, I I think we'll point it out in the interview because I think I asked you to. I really wish they'd do some 148th, but we'll talk about that next
Hmm.
episode as well.
Yeah.
So as I said, yeah, it's definitely available for pre-order now, so you can get your pre-order in.
Hmm.
Right now, it's going for 20 and a half euros, so 20 euros and 50 cents, whatever, on their
Yeah.
website.
So
But
about
I'm
the
sure it'll be available
fifty
elsewhere.
dollar mark
No, a little
for the
bit
Western.
less.
Yeah.
Euros about a buck and a half, so about
Okay.
35.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's going to be good. And you know what? I've seen it in my local hobby store, so it's
Hmm.
it's they get it out there. The, all the
Excellent.
distributors will have it, so definitely
Cool.
check that out as well. Okay, 4 new products from Barracuda Studios, who always does some good resin stuff.
Hmm.
Speaking of Hellcats and Wildcats and stuff like that, for the
Hmm.
124 scale Airfix monster, they've
Oh
got
yeah.
their diamond treaded wheels. They've also got cross tread wheels, because apparently, depending where your Wildcat is, it has a different wheel.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mock, but I shouldn't. They also have the 148 scale back in stock, a Sea Fury brass landing gear.
Hmm.
So, again, looks very, very nice. And in
Cool.
fact, what's interesting is, again, it's got a Canadian connection. Or was it? No, sorry, Camden Museum. Thanks to Steve Long, the Camden Museum of Aviation, and Michael Hare for their help in researching their set. So again, that's some very nice casting work. They've also got the Hawker Fury gear bay set and
Hmm.
the Hawker templates, Airlon, and elevator. So that's just some of the new stuff. They've got a ton. of different things on their website.
That's
Definitely
awesome.
worth checking out. They do decals, masks, again, a lot of resin sets for Spitfires and Mustangs and stuff like that. A whole bunch of things. I know they did used to carry airframe stencils for the Mosquito. I don't think they have any in right now. But yeah, they've always been around. I've always heard good things about them. So
Cool.
very, very cool. Okay, remember we talked about the Airfix Tiger Moth?
Yes.
And how popular it's absolutely, people are going gaga. You couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
There's actually a resin kit from a company called Silver Wings, and they've got one in 1/32nd scale they've announced. So this is the DH82A Tiger Moth in resin 1/32nd scale.
Wow.
Looks like four different schemes. Yeah, it looks very, very nice. Again, I'm not a resin guy, but I know there's people out there who will definitely want to get this for that scale. I know the guys at your large scale planes have been talking about it a little bit. And Silverwing seems to do all sorts of interesting things. They've been around for a few years, since 2009, and they're out of Poland as well. So
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a great model.
Yeah, it looks like it will come up nicely. They build a lot of unusual things. Actually, I think we talked about these guys not long ago because they have the Boeing Stearman in 1/32nd scale.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. So I know we talked about, I don't know if it was this one or a 48th one, but again, a lot of different, more obscure stuff not like the mainstream stuff, but stuff that still has a lot of loyal fans. Speaking of one that could probably have a lot of loyal fans, ICM's announced in May they're going to produce a 1/32nd scale plastic kit of the Gloucester Sea Gladiator Mark II. So this was a World War II British biplane naval fighter. And again, a lot of fans of this particular aircraft that are out there. So again, that's a bit of exciting news. ICM tends to do some pretty cool stuff. And they do all sorts of different things too, don't they?
Yeah, they're pretty varied in their
they're pretty varied out there. Exactly.
I've never built anything from them. Have you?
No, they have. From some point, I'm probably going to build the omnibus. They've got like the World War I buses, and the World War I trucks.
That's right.
Yeah, so I'll probably do that at some point. So the other thing I was doing is I was trolling around on our good friend Scott Hard's website at HobbyLink Japan, and this popped up. So this is from a company called Pit Road. It's the Pit Road. It's the 1/700th ski jump and F-35B set in 1/700th scale. So this basically allows you to convert one of the Japanese Izumo class aircraft carriers to operate F-35s, because they've been talking about this for a while. So it basically comes with the ski jump, and for those who don't know, the British carriers use, the Russians do. It allows, it looks like a little ramp. So the idea is vertical and short takeoff and landing aircraft can use this as an advantage. So the new British Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carriers have these.
Yes. Yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah, so this is basically, it comes with two ski jumps, two F-35Cs, two F-35As, and the 2X2 advanced technology demonstrators.
Oh, that's cool.
So again, if you want to convert your Izumo class carrier, you can definitely do that. And then Pit Road does, again, a bunch of other little accessories and that for ships. But I can certainly see this being potentially popular for those people who are waiting for the F-35s. And
they do a ton of ship kits and small scale aircraft and I think they even do some armor and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, they might as well. But I just thought, I looked at this and I thought that's kind of unusual. You normally just get the aircraft, right? You don't get an extra bit for that. So I thought that was interesting.
And you have a price for listeners for that?
Let me look back again. I think he had it already in there in Canadian. It wasn't much. It was like 15 Canadian.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so not too bad. Again, basically for what you expect for something like that.
Yeah, just like a little additional part.
Yeah, a little additional part. But I might just get it just so I can play around with the little fighter jets. Exactly. And you got to do the whoosh and the shooting sounds and all that. Okay, our good friend Steve at Cult TV Man. Speaking of highly anticipated releases, this
Mhm.
is another one from MPC Round 2. This is the Eagle 2 from Space 1999. This
Mhm.
comes with the lab pod. So it was featured in a few of the episodes of the late 70 years TV show.
Oh yeah.
This is a big kit, 148 scale, $145. Okay, but
Wow.
wait, there's more. There's more for the true fans. You can also get the booster pack accessory set. So this is like a bunch of
Okay.
boosters that slapped on the top of it for another $42. You can also get obviously the Hawk paint masks for
Yep.
$15.95. The Eagle cockpit light kit from Voodoo FX for $30.
Yeah.
And no true fan will be without the Space 1999 148 scale 22, but the kit's 22 inches long, by the way, supplemental metal parts.
Those
So
are
this will,
beautiful.
yeah, this will set you back $92, but these are like turned engines, turned metal. So these
Yeah.
include 14 engine bell replacement parts and 4 strut replacements.
Yeah. Those
So
are really slick. That
yeah,
that that would be the thing that got me for sure.
yeah, and this also includes the bells that if you buy the actual booster pack, they
Mm.
include the bells for that.
There you go.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Those are a must have, I would think.
yeah, and this will sell. They'll sell quite a few of these,
I've
based
seen
on
it done up with the like the plastic engine bells don't compare at all to like
they're
the total
really
aluminum
tough to
ones.
do. Yeah,
Beautiful.
and
Yeah.
there's a lot of people. Again, the show was kind of hokey, but there's a lot of people that remember the technology because it
People
was right
love
around the
that
time
show.
of Star Wars. Yep.
Yeah.
And there's I remember when they re-released these, I'm thinking, are these really gonna? And I
They're
was proven wrong.
huge.
I was
Yeah.
proven wrong once again.
Yeah.
And yeah, and
It's
what I'm reading on the forums is a ton of people waiting for this.
a lot of interest in that. That is one of the subjects that on my couple of trips down to Wonderfest,
Yeah,
that one of the kind of big popular subjects was this thing. And I'm like, what is this thing? Because it was a little bit, I was a little after
yeah,
that particular thing, so I had never seen it.
yep,
And I think I'd seen the spaceship, but not really known what it was
yeah,
from. But there was a
exactly.
very big interest and following in that. Obviously, caught a lot of teenagers or kids
Or
slash
younger attention. I
teenagers.
was 10. I was
Yeah,
10, and yeah, it was the sci-fi show at the time. It was really
yeah,
either that or Star Trek reruns, and this had some
yeah. Because
amazing.
it was sort of in between Star Trek and Star Wars, right? So if
Well,
you're
yeah,
that of that age,
it came out just before Star Wars.
yeah, it was kind of
So
caught people's
yeah,
attention.
yeah, exactly. And now I have the Space 1999 Hawk in 1/72nd scale, and that's pretty big.
Yes,
So
what
again,
is it?
22 inches long. That's
That's
a
just shy of 2 feet long.
Yeah, it's a big kit. It's a
That's awesome.
very it's a very big kit. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's going to be fun for people. And as I said, I know I got an email from Steve about this, and he was letting his people know that it's in it's in stock now, so you can
Very
definitely,
cool.
yeah, very very cool. So yeah, so check that out if you've got a hole burning in your wallet and you want to get that. So
Hmm.
okay, so some what's currently hot at ScaleMates? Well, pretty well a lot of the stuff we talked about. When I look here, I see the Airfix Tiger Moth in 1/48th, the TACOM Stug 3 we talked about. That
Hmm.
to me a P38, that's still going.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. I
Yep,
I, I want to build one of those sometime.
yep. The Mi-24 Hind in 1/48 scale,
Hmm.
the new Warrior tank uh, by Mung in 1/35th. A
Hmm.
nice looking Ford Mustang GT4 by Tamiya. So yeah, quite a few. Now what's interesting here. They've got a wings one here. The Hanover CI 2 early.
Hmm.
It must be a lot of people talking about it. That's why it's hot. We've heard nothing more from Wingnut Wings, by the way, folks, from
Yeah,
the mill or anything else.
I think
Um,
those kits are going to be discussed and of interest for
well, the
like near
pricing is just
future.
not. Yeah, and I see there's a few
Yeah,
more here. Some of the eBay pricing's just gone ridiculous.
yeah.
So
Well, I mean,
yeah,
the thing about that is, I mean, you can set whatever price you want, but like you can only sell them for
but I
an
guess.
amount that somebody's willing to pay, right?
Well,
So
exactly. And yeah, no, and I see that, but I just wonder how many of these are just going to be purchased and then sit gathering dust in a stash.
yeah,
I like these things are beautiful. And again, that's me. I'm not a collector. I
I've heard
realize there is
somebody,
two hobbies.
yeah, somebody did. Yeah, I don't like that idea, but I've heard that comment that whether or not you like World War I airplanes, but just the fact of how the engineering is completed and how the kits are constructed, and how
Yep.
it's like a whole other experience in terms of model building.
Oh, it
You know,
is.
that kind of caught my attention because I don't really have a lot of interest in.
No, I don't have a lot.
I
I'd like to
enjoy
try
looking
one
at
of the
a really
simpler
well
ones. Yeah.
built World War I kit for
Yeah.
sure, no problem.
Yeah,
But
I'd like to try one day, but it's certainly not high enough for me to pay that kind of pricing. But you know,
mm,
again, I'm a great believer kits should be built, and I just worry a lot of these are just going to sit somewhere and
they rip
gather
open
dust
the
and
box,
have a
start
look and then
slamming.
go, well, no,
start,
no, no, not even that. They won't even open the box, or they'll
oh,
just
that's
fondle
yeah.
the plastic and it won't be built. No, I'm not worried
Well,
about that. And you know
yeah.
what? Even if a kid got a hold of it and slapped a good, that's what it was designed for.
Yeah,
You
to
know,
be
you
built.
build it
That's
as you
exactly
as
right.
you want.
Yeah.
And
No,
again,
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing
yeah,
with you. I think
yeah.
you got to build these things. That, what's the
Well,
point?
and
It's not.
I've come to terms. I used to mock a little bit people that just had thousands in the stash and that, but I've also realized now there is in many ways two hobbies. Some people like to collect,
I guess.
and I've realized that, so that's fine. But yeah, you just hope some of these get built.
Yeah, I mean, certainly you're right. That is something that exists, but it doesn't seem like it's the point to me. You should build them
Mhm.
because
I also,
it's like you don't want to stockpile Beanie Boos, right? I think
yeah,
models can sort of be like that. Like, yes, there are things that go out of production and become rare, and all of a sudden it's a hot ticket item, or
yeah,
like Wingnut Wings, But after a while, a new kit comes out, and all that stuff isn't.
exactly.
Might as well
Well,
build it and enjoy
and
it, right?
and that's the thing. It's like, for example, there's a lot of people who like collecting the Matchbox kits for the boxes, and I admit I grew up on those. Those are fabulous.
Yeah,
But it's also like,
but you build them
if
too,
you look
like
at the
you.
if you look at the monogram of Revell, how many thousands did they make? And as you say,
Yeah.
there's much better examples now. And I know both the other podcasts were talking about this a bit. Do you want to devote your time? And some people like building older kits. I don't mind.
Yeah,
But
I
if you're
build
the type
older
if
stuff
you're
all
the
the time.
type of person that really wants to see the accuracy in that, are you gonna fight your way through an older kit, or are you gonna
Mm.
buy something that's a bit newer
Now
tooled, better engineered?
that's a good question.
Yeah, and again, our other two compatriot podcasts were talking about that a bit,
Yeah.
and there was some mixed reactions. Like Julian from On the Bench, he would rather buy a newer tool kit,
Mm.
better engineered, than have to fight things. There's only so much time in the day, right? And
I'm starting to feel that way.
yeah, and I can see that. I can see that. Now, there's certain ones you have, they just don't have anymore, or I've
Yeah,
gotten,
that's always
and
been
it's like I
my
don't mind.
experience.
Yeah, and I
Like you
don't mind
have
if
this
it's,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
it's you have something that, or I had that exactly what you're saying. You've got a topic. There is no current example, so you want to see it in 3 dimensions. You got to build it, right, and struggle
Mhm.
through whatever limitations there were. Um, that's the other side of that coin for me, was that I swore I would finish stuff I started 20 years ago before
Yep, yep,
spending money or ripping open new boxes and then having 50 started projects. And I've been doing that.
yep.
And I'm getting a little tired of it because you just see stuff and you're like, oh my goodness, why did they do this? Why did they
Well,
make
and
it so
that's
hard?
what I find, yeah. And like, for example, even newer stuff like this Lancaster I'm working on, I've just got a little bit burnt out on. I'll go back to it. But like, there's some other stuff I'm looking in my stash right now, and there's other stuff that, like, I think I've got an old Monogram 148 scale F117. The thing probably only has a dozen parts,
Mhm.
but I'm gonna have just fun slapping it together and do a what if. Again, if you enjoy
Yeah.
it, none of the stuff I would enter in a contest, but it comes down
I
to
think I have
if you
that one
enjoy
too.
doing, yeah, if you enjoy doing it. I think I got it at a thrift store, to be
It's
perfectly
so
honest.
wrong.
Yeah,
But
but
funny
but
story
who
about that.
cares? Yeah,
Funny story about that kit is that apparently, obviously, there was a lot of buzz among aviation enthusiasts, the model building community. People were like really pumped. This thing was so different, and
yeah,
now it was so secret that there was only a picture, like a profile shot from the
yeah,
very front,
yep.
that was sort of publicized, and
And people
I guess
took a
that
mold
the
from that.
company, they had that one picture and they basically extrapolated what the
Yep,
rest of it looked like, and that's why
yep,
it's so out.
yep.
I got the same thing because I thought this is a great kit to just put together and work on
Well, I'm gonna
doing
do mine
black.
as a what if. I'm gonna do mine as a
Yeah,
what if.
there you
I'm gonna
go.
make it in an RAF scheme because
I,
apparently
I,
Reagan did offer Thatcher,
oh,
if she wanted to buy some. That's been declassified a couple
that's
of years
fun.
back.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
so she didn't take him up on it, but
Yeah,
exactly. So
I just wanted to something I can like practice doing. like a black scheme, which is lots of shades of gray.
Yeah,
And I thought, you
exactly.
know what, you're not going to be that invested in it. You can just sort of go at it, which is a little bit like that freedom. You want that
Yep,
free idea.
exactly.
Neat.
Exactly. So yeah, so like I said, quite a few things here. Oh, I see Ashima is reissuing the Back to the Future DeLorean in 124 scale
Oh yeah, I
sometime
bet you
this
that's
year.
a
I see
nice
that's
kit.
on the what's hot. So yeah, all sorts of cool things. So again, check out our friends at Skillmates, and just don't forget we had a great interview with
Yes,
Tim last episode. We really
Tim
enjoyed that.
Variki. Yeah,
Yeah.
very interesting. And what a neat idea. I did not realize how much user generated
Oh yeah.
content
It all
basically.
comes in like that.
Yeah,
Well, you know what's
that's cool.
interesting because one of the things I like is, and I mentioned this too, when you log in, it will, when you add your stash, it'll say, "Oh, we see you have this. If you want, we don't have the instructions for this one. Can you scan it in?" So that Volcker edge is finished. I'm
Yeah.
going to, carefully. It's one large sheet, but I'm going to carefully cut it and I'll
Hmm.
scan it in and add it to their database for the
Nice.
community. Yeah.
Right
So
on.
that's kind of cool as well. So, all right. So that's all the hobby news that's fit to print. Fit to
Hmm.
display, fit to display,
All
fit to
right.
print, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, under What's the Scoop, we've got a new semi-regular thing that I made up like
Hmm.
in the last 48 hours called Things That Make You Go, hmm. And
Hmm.
this will be interesting stuff we find in our travels around the interwebs or whatever. Just,
Hmm.
you kind of go, wow. So I found this one. Uh, so we have a fairly new group in the Ontario area called IPMS Cambridge.
Hmm.
Fairly new IPMS chapter, only six
Brand
or
new.
seven guys, but they've started. And when we don't have COVID and stuff, they meet at our good friends at Forbes Hobbies
Yeah.
down the road. So one of the
Cambridge.
members posted to their group there, he has 132nd HK Lancaster inside Tigger Models 132nd short Sunderland fuselage. Um, Now, so the Sunderland, for those who don't know, is
Yeah.
a giant flying boat. I have the 72nd scale one, and it's bloody big there. And
Wow.
he passes on. So this thing comes, no instructions, drawings, or guidance of any kind. Most flashes I ever saw on a model airplane, haha. So I replied, I said, so where do you display something like this when you've done a brand new wing in the house?
Well, that's
This thing is huge.
huge.
So the picture I posted. So again, if most people know how big that Lancaster is going to be. Well, he
Yeah.
has this nicely fitting very comfortably. You can probably put two of them inside the one fuselage type.
Oh wow.
So,
Oh, so
so I
it's huge.
oh yeah, I found the it was done in 2010. It was a
Yes.
rebox from sometime in the 90s. So yeah,
Oh
it's
wow.
basically a vacuum form, and they have a picture there, and it looks pretty. There's a lot of work there. I know we have some people
Yeah.
in our local club that would love to get their hands on this, but
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
it's pretty big.
Now, is this would this be an expensive kit due to its rarity, or is it going to be kind of like people are
Just
trying to
it's
get rid of it
huge.
because it's so
No, it's
difficult?
huge. It's huge. No, this
Yeah.
is a vacuum form, so probably custom made. Again, I don't think the company's around anymore, so you'd be finding out in the secondary market.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh
but
yeah.
yeah, this is a very big kick because if you realize, well, again, look at the picture. You know how big a
It's
Lancaster is,
yeah.
right? This is a flying
Absolutely.
boat. This thing's huge. As I
Yeah.
said,
Totally. Cool.
I've got the Airfix 172nd Sunderland because my grandfather worked on them in the Far East
Oh yeah.
during the war, and I've got the White Ensign detail set. And I just got to figure out how I'm going to do that. That's going to be where I truly lose my mind doing all the photo etch in that, because I might do a like cut the fuselage in half, like do a half display. Because
Uh-huh.
this flying boat with several levels and a kitchen, like these things were designed to go for hours and hours and
Yeah.
transatlantic sort of thing, right? Long range patrols.
Uh-huh.
Um, so yeah, but just I saw that and I went, the freaking size of that thing. Because people know I talk about like these people
Yeah.
that are buying these monster
It's
kits. Where the
huge.
heck do you put it? And this to me
Monstrous.
almost takes it to a whole new scale. Um, so yeah, I couldn't resist. So there we
Well,
go.
be
So check.
careful because you'll never finish the like if it gets too ambitious, right? You
Well,
don't want to
again,
you don't want to kill your own
he
mojo.
says
And
he builds large kits, and there's people that do that, right?
yeah,
So that's fine. So
sure.
anyway, I put the ScaleMates link and I put the link on the Facebook group. I'm not sure if the Cambridge site is open or not for everyone,
Right.
but it's if it is, definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. So what's happening at Goodman Models these days, my friend?
Well, things are moving briskly, which is nice. So I'm still doing the shipping every 2 weeks. So the next shipping date is May 15th. That's coming up in at the end of this week.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, some prizes are going out with the same at the same time for Scale Model Podcast, and I've just been trying to. Well, I'm going back to work soon, and I've been trying to kind of just get bump up my stock a little bit so I can
Good. Get
you
the
know.
website cleaned up a little bit, and
Yes, I'm working
good
on.
stuff.
I'm trying to do new photographs. So I got a new
Oh,
camera,
good for you.
which is a huge, obviously a necessity for that project. So I'm
Mhm.
working on update on the photos, and yeah, I have plenty in stock. I've been using them like crazy because I've been
Yep.
building a lot. Also trying to get some things done. But again, if you're working on resin kits, plastic kits, you need a set of super sanding blocks to help you get that precision. You can feel positive contact when you're sanding something, so that's where the precision comes in,
Yep.
and it's going to help you with all your seam work. And if you're trying to trim parts down, or even mating surfaces that, especially I'm looking at older kits, and
Right.
sometimes they're a bit soft.
Yep.
And like one I'm working on now is 20 years old, which you'd think is not that old, but I kind of shake my head a little bit.
Mhm.
But I'm using the blocks to kind of just like clean up the edges so that when I'm mating like the top hull and the lower hull together, I'm getting a nice clean fit. And they're really coming in handy for that. And of
Very
course,
cool.
on my Quaidloon Row kit build for Moscato
Mhm.
Hobby Models, I was cleaning up all the resin edges and faces that are going to meet together with the
Right.
super sanding blocks, and they do the trick right there in
Awesome.
those certain situations. So yeah,
So
they're
where can someone get some of these wonderful items?
fully in stock at goodmanmodels.com. I've
Okay.
got all the sets. I got lots of super stands.
Mhm.
And I just put another order in for with Sean's custom model tools for another
Mhm.
25 super stands because
There
people
you
are
go.
liking them,
They're
and it's
going. They're
such a
going quick.
handy. Yeah,
Oh, I love it. I love it
it's
on my
such a handy
bench.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too. I'm amazed. It's not something I ever really, I didn't adopt right away. The
That's why I
idea
had
you
to
were
talk you into it.
suggesting. Yeah, you sort of did, but you were right, and I just love it. It just keeps it just nice and
Keeps things
organized and
organized.
clean.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
So, and then there's still some stores that are doing mail order that can carry them too. So,
that's right.
again,
Yeah,
a lot of stores are doing mail order, so make sure you check them out as well. So,
yeah. Wheels and
okay.
Waves and Section 8 Hobbies in
Yep.
Buffalo. Down in Australia, there's War Game Miniatures
Yep.
and SJS Hobbies. And have I left? Oh, and flexifile.com.
Lexiville.com. Exactly.
Yeah,
So there's no excuse. Get yours today. Go now. Go right
for
now.
tools.
Pause the
Yeah,
podcast. Go now.
get
Order.
tools,
And
build your
then don't forget to
kits.
come back. And then don't forget to
Yeah,
come back to us.
of course.
Okay, let's move on to our topic. So,
Yeah.
we had a great interview. So, as many people know, Anthony's been down to Wonderfest.
Mhm.
And Wonderfest is a giant, would you call it like a giant
Yeah,
sci-fi and figure
yeah.
movie?
Fantasy figure, sci-fi
Yeah.
convention.
Okay, so
Uh,
they obviously had to cancel their date, which was the
yes.
end of May. They're hoping to do it now in October. But what happened is a bunch of people who are either vendors or heavily involved in Wonderfest and all that,
Yes.
uh, they decide, well, we should do a virtual, or they should do, I shouldn't say we, they should do a virtual competition
Hmm.
with, you pay to enter and stuff like that, but 100% of the proceeds are going to be going to the Wonderfest committee because, they obviously would have had to cancel things and there would have been some expenses.
Yeah.
So, and they're saying here the purpose of the event is to help promote the model kit building hobby and to show how cool this hobby community is. It'll show support for the organizers at Wonderfest. They've been a mainstay in the hobby since 1990.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, so basically we reached out to one of the organizers, George Stevenson, sorry.
Stevenson. Yeah.
We had an awesome interview with him, and we're going to have him back because his own figure company, he does some pretty cool things. So we were trying to just keep to Wantafest, but we're going to have
Yes.
him
Yeah.
back. But we had a fantastic interview.
Yeah,
as
it's a neat
always.
idea.
It
Yeah,
is.
very.
So we're just going to go right into it right now. And here we go. All right, Stuart Clark here and Anthony from the Scale Model Podcast here with a interview. Anthony, you take it away.
Sure. We are very lucky to have with us George Stevenson. He is one of the team putting together this really cool online WantaFest model contest in lieu of the usual Wonderfest convention that obviously is not happening due to the COVID-19 pandemic at this time. And we thought that was a really interesting concept. They're really trying to get some excitement out there, and this is also a type of fundraiser for Wonderfest because there's huge amounts of cost with running that type of convention. So let me tell you a little bit about George, and then we'll start asking some questions. So George is a district court judge from Minnesota. He started building and painting models after completing law school in 1985. When he had more time available, he happened to come across a hobby shop, and he noticed a whole bunch of old Aurora kits that caught his eye. And he is a builder of monsters kits, busts, figures from all kinds of sci-fi and fantasy subjects. And yeah, he was very taken by that, and he got right into it and developed his skills and his interests. And after struggling with the poor fit and engineering of sort of the kits at the time that he could get, he decided he would take a crack at it and make a better kit. And he started Blackheart Models around 2009 and has been rocking those kits ever since. So, and I think we're going to have an interview with George another time to really talk about Blackheart Models, which just produces some amazing busts. But we want to talk about WantaFest. So, George, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome. So we got to talk about this WantaFest. This sort of came up pretty quickly. Tell us about kind of the the origin of that. What was your role in it?
Okay. Well, you guys are familiar with Wonderfest.
Yes.
It's a hobby toy convention that's been a model and toy convention that's been going on for over 30 years. And one of the most significant events every year for our hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And Blackheart teams up with Badger Airbrush Company every year at Wonderfest to do an airbrushing class.
Oh, right on.
And so in February, when things started looking bad for huge public gatherings,
Yes.
I started doing some contingency planning in case in case the convention got canceled, or in case folks who had signed up for our class decided they didn't want to go to a huge public gathering.
Yeah.
And so I started doing that contingency planning. And in the course of that, I thought, well, if Wonderfest gets postponed or canceled, there are going to be a whole bunch of folks that are going to be hurt like that, including the folks who put on the show, but especially the folks who count on that show to, make money, to pay for projects that they've invested in and been working hard to debut at the show. And so I thought, there's got to be something that we can do if we can't all get together, something that we can do online so that those dealers, vendors have an opportunity to kind of not miss that paycheck.
Yeah.
And to get their stuff out there. And so I just started thinking about that, and I noticed that there was a convention in Chicago that we go to every year called Adepticon. It's a miniatures, gaming and miniatures convention. Huge, 6,000 people go to that thing.
Wow.
And when Adepticon got canceled, a group of vendors from Adepticon got together and did an online event called Adepticant.
That's amazing.
And it was really cool. And it went for about a week, different activities.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
And vendors jumped in, and folks had sales, and people were posting articles and demos, videos, and posting photos of the latest thing they had built or the thing that they had planned to enter at the Adepticon contest. And so that's kind of how the idea got started. I talked to some of those folks and some other folks who I know who are Wonderfest vendors and have been involved in the hobby for years.
Right on.
About this idea, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, this is a great idea. Let's do it."
Nice.
And that's how it started.
Okay, so you really were you were the original kind of thought on planting that seed.
Yeah, for Wonderfest, I stole
Cool.
the idea from my friends at Adepticant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Excellent. Imitation's the most sincerest form of flattery, I always
Absolutely.
say.
Yeah.
So can you just give us some details in terms of dates and stuff like that?
Sure. So the centerpiece of the event is going to be the model contest, and I think there are 5 categories for the contest. Registration will officially start on May 14th, and will close, I think it's at midnight on Wednesday, May 27th. And
Cool.
then judging will start, and judging is going to be by poll by all the people who joined the WantaFest contest group. Anybody can join, and it's free.
That's cool.
And we're hoping to get a lot of folks to join, and a lot of folks to enter the contest. $10 fee for the first model, $5 for every model after that, which is typical of model contests.
Yeah, that's not unreasonable.
Yep. And then voting will close. I think it closes at midnight. I should look. It's on the page.
We'll definitely post it in our show notes too. It'll be there.
It's going to be a couple of days of voting by poll, and everybody gets one vote for each category. So possible 5 votes total, 1 for each category. And we're hoping that we see, maybe 100 models entered in the contest.
Cool.
If we can do better than that, that'll be great. And all the money, all the entry fees, 100% go to Wonderfest to help them with whatever expenses they incur, or fees or penalties that they incur as a result of having to postpone their show to October.
Yeah.
That's it.
There must be something, right? You can't just drop something that big that takes that long to set up and then just move it, right? There's going to be some kind of expenses incurred. So,
yes,
it's really interesting. Sure. Okay, so in terms of the participation, just to clarify for people, so anybody can join for free the Facebook group, and then you become one of the voting group.
That's right.
Which is cool. And then if you want to actually participate, it's a $10 entry fee to get your model in, and there's 5 categories to pick from. That is really cool. Yep. So, man, that's amazing. And I know that you must have a booth at the actual Wonderfest every year. Do you have a vendor table?
Yep.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. So that's kind of a big hit, right? Like in terms of you're not people are excited, they're buying lots of kits when they go. It's maybe an easier market than just doing an online thing.
Yes. There are people who save up all year to go to Wonderfest, and then blow their stash there. And then they wait for the next year.
Yeah. So it's great for vendors, right? It's a good opportunity for vendors.
It's a fantastic show, and it's also it's a really cool community to be a part of.
Yeah.
And the contest is the centerpiece there as well. It's huge contest. I mean, there just isn't a contest like it. It's the largest contest for horror, science fiction, and fantasy model kits in the country.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I know Anthony's been there a couple of times, and it's definitely on my bucket list at some point.
Yeah, Stu, we should. It's so much fun, and I should mention, maybe you can relate too, but the wins I have from the times I've been to Wonderfest are really meaningful wins because of the open judging system. And actually, that's a good segue. We weren't really talking about this, but can you describe a bit of the judging, what the judging system, or you said just poll, right? So is there any criteria to guide people, or?
Nope.
Keeping it simple.
Keeping it simple.
Yeah, because you can't, you're judging on photographs that you're seeing online.
Okay.
So you can't really inspect the craftsmanship of the model the way you would at a live contest.
Right.
So it's, to some degree, it's a popularity thing. What kit do I like? What picture do I think looks the coolest? Some people are going to vote that way.
Yeah,
there may be
good enough, right?
Yeah, there may be some entries where you can tell, wow, now that's some workmanship, some craftsmanship right there.
Yeah,
but
it's just not the focus.
Right. This is really about an excuse for us all to get together online and do something constructive and fun that feeds our hobby geekery.
Excellent.
Oh yeah,
that's really what it's about. But it's also about showing support for the folks who put the live convention together and are not going to be able to have it, and folks who spend a lot of time and effort and money preparing to be vendors at that show. And now the show is not going to be there. It's been delayed 6 months.
Right. Excellent segue, actually. So do you think virtual events like this may continue to happen even once things go back to some semblance of what we call normal?
That's a good question. I've had a lot of people suggest that maybe, this is something that could happen, like in the dead of winter when there aren't any live conventions. I don't know about that. Let's get through this one. I mean, this one is all about supporting the Wonderfest community. Okay.
No, I think it's an awesome idea.
But I don't see why something like that couldn't happen. But I'm not even thinking beyond this. And if there were things like that happened beyond this, I'd support them. Whether I'd be involved in organizing them is a different story, man. I got, it's not like I have a whole lot of leisure time.
I know that feeling. Believe me, I know that feeling. Working in a hospital myself, it's like, we're kind of busy.
Oh yeah, right.
Yep. Yeah, everybody's feeling it.
Yeah. Okay, Anthony.
Well, I wanted to ask about obviously you want to promote the vendors who are kind of losing out on that big weekend. Is there going to be a method for people to kind of sell kits or get some sort of exposure for their online shops kind of integrated into the online site? Or
yes, there are there is something that's going to be called Vendors Hall and something called Artist Alley, and the people who are doing the technical work to get this all set up, I believe they describe those as events that people can go to. And my idea is that folks who want to be vendors, and it doesn't cost anything, it typically would be folks who would have been vendors at Wonderfest.
Yeah.
And you'll have their contact information. Maybe they'll do some promoting of their pages or their websites or whatever, letting folks know, hey, this is what we were going to debut at Wonderfest. Here it is now. Here's how, if you're interested, want to get more information, contact me at such and such place, such and such website, whatever.
Awesome.
But it's an opportunity. One of the things that a lot of the folks who are in this hobby business do not do a good job at is promoting and marketing their goods and their company.
It's so challenging.
Yeah, because you got all these other things to do, and a lot of these folks aren't doing it full time. They have other jobs, and so that takes a back seat to making sure you're getting stuff sculpted and cast and boxed and packaged.
I could totally relate exactly with what you're saying. I make a tool, and it is so hard to do the marketing stuff, especially because that's a whole field of knowledge, right? That people study, and then you're trying to figure it out kind of on the side after doing the rest of it, like actually making the product and doing the mail orders and trying to run a website. It's challenging. So that's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. Where would you market and advertise something like this if you don't do it online?
Yeah.
There's one hobby magazine that caters to the Wonderfest crowd, the resin or science fiction fantasy model kit hobby. That's Amazing Figure Modeling. We've been around for almost 30 years too.
Oh wow.
There are people who are producing model kits, who have little model companies, who don't even advertise in that magazine, and that's the one place. There are folks who are producing stuff. The AFM has something called the IT column, where you can send in for free information about a new release that you have. and they'll post that information in a photo, and it costs nothing.
Oh my
But there are
goodness.
people who won't even do that.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah. Yeah. It's free.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, but they won't do that because guys are so busy with the other things going on in their lives, going to work, getting stuff sculpted, molded, cast, packed, shipped, responding to emails. Heck, why not do this? It's free.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for that, George.
Yeah. And and then you can advertise in the magazine. The advertising is cheap too.
Oh yeah, right on.
So it just
I looked at doing it, getting an ad in Fine Scale Modeler, and it was so. I mean, it's probably a reasonable price for that, but like for me, it was like it didn't make any sense compared to my numbers because it's just kind of a small side gig, right?
right.
And so it was like, that'd be amazing, but it's I can't blow the whole.
Yeah, but you'll get there. So one of the other things we always ask, George, we always ask everyone this question, and it's a little bit more challenging, I think, with the way things are right now. So but we ask everyone, can you take a guess of where the hobby might be in 5 to 10 years?
Wow. I think that there's going to be much more variety in this hobby. Because we're seeing technology make things better and easier in a lot of ways. We're also seeing that there's a lot of crossover.
Yes.
And so one of the big things for our business, for Blackheart, over the last few years was we started, when Blackheart started, we were all about 1-to-1 scale, large scale, life-sized.
Oh wow.
Busts and wall hangers. I mean, life-size. And that, they're not cheap, $200 to $350. Okay. Yep. And life size, I mean, they take up a lot of space. So people are running out of space. And people, if you want to get new people in, who are those new people going to be? They're going to be younger, and they aren't going to have $200, $350 to spend, on a model. So we started a new line called Micromania. And they are 6-inch busts, resin busts that cost $22.
Okay.
I'm looking at some of them on the webpage now. Yep.
Entry level kind of idea.
Yes. Very little assembly needed. For the most part, they're just painting projects. They already come pegged with a base. You just put the bust on the base, and you can use that base to hold the bust while you paint it. And then,
cool.
But when we started, it was $20.
Right.
The costs have gone up a little bit in the last 3 or 4 years. They're $22, most of them.
Yeah.
But that opened up a whole new market for us. We started doing gaming and miniature shows, and there was nobody in that market really doing horror, science fiction, and fantasy movie characters.
Oh yeah.
And so it has been huge for us. Huge. And so now we're seeing more of the miniaturists coming into doing bigger stuff. And we're seeing them buy some of our stuff, some of our bigger stuff. So I think there's going to be more and more of that. And then you have digital sculpting and 3D printing. That's making a lot of things easier and sometimes less expensive. More things are more accessible that way to artists and to companies that want to produce this stuff. So I think it's going to be bigger. I think the quality is going to be better. I think you're going to have more variety of subject matter, more variety in scale.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be good.
The future looks good, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been impressed at how the hobby has grown just since I started Blackheart. I mentioned that I had a company called Geometric Design from 1990 to 2003 when I sold it. But all along, I was seeing the hobby grow and expand, and every now and then somebody would talk about, oh, this is the death of the hobby, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Look at all the new stuff. Look at the quality of the sculpting. Much better than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
It's like growing in leaps and bounds.
Yeah, the quality of the engineering of the models so that they go together more easily. Phenomenal. The quality of the molding and casting. phenomenal. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think better and better.
Yeah, I think both you and I agree with that. We were just seeing amazing, really in terms of what's being offered and also what's being produced. Like we're seeing amazing stuff, and it's awesome, right? So,
yep.
And there's, I think there's new people coming into the hobby, not so much in the traditional subjects like military aviation, but like they're coming in through gaming and sci-fi and anime kits and horror kits and all that stuff, right?
Yep.
Those are the ones that maybe are growing a little bit.
Yes.
But yeah, that's very cool. So we should ask, do you know what the categories are for the 5 categories for WantaFest are yet, or have they been released?
We just posted it on the page. They are busts, figures, dioramas, spaceships, and the last one is hardware and props.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So prop making, like having gone to Wonderfest a couple times, like I noticed that there's a whole other kind of world of prop making and cosplay and stuff like that I'm not too familiar with, but I noticed that kind of has become more integrated into like that particular con, and that's interesting. You have a category for that, so that'd be like one-to-one stuff.
It could be like somebody who builds the time machine. Model the time machine. Where would that go? Well, hardware,
props.
Somebody builds a Klingon disruptor, 1-to-1 scale. Yeah, that's where it would go.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, and then in the let's see, spaceships. I think that's the name of it, and then that also includes collections.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just looking up here because the rules were posted, and you're very close. Figures, busts, dioramas, and collections. They're together.
That's it. Right.
Yeah. Spacecrafts and hardware and props.
Yep, that's it. Thank you.
So that's very cool. Yeah, no worries. No, the rules are here, and again, we'll post a link, and it's very complete, and makes sense. So the poll will be open May 28th through May 30th. Mm-hmm. Results will be posted no later than Monday, June the 1st.
That's right.
This looks great. The team's done a fantastic job. Okay, we're gonna follow this up. We always ask one last question for everyone, and we ask, what's currently on your bench?
Currently on my bench is, I've got a couple of things. A Medusa, our Gorgon. That's what we call this one. I've been working on that. That was to be the painting subject at our Wonderfest class.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And so since that's been, we canceled the class, and we'll do a different class at the next Wonderfest in October. Mm-hmm. But we offered all the folks who had signed up for the class an option. That was my contingency planning. You can have a refund, or we can send you the whole package.
Nice.
And we'll sweeten the deal with some discounts on our stuff. And we'll have the 2 class instructors do a couple of articles and possibly videos.
That's awesome.
It'll be available for the class members to see during what would have been Wonderfest weekend.
That's that's incredibly gracious, and that's awesome, and that's what that's an example of how we have to basically evaluate, work with the times.
Yeah. So that's support the community online and promote each other, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I see both you and I know Badger's been very supportive over the years. I've got 3 Badger airbrushes myself, so I'm a fanboy. And I see you also sell them and some of their products. So
Badger's our partner in the airbrushing class.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure they were disappointed. Ken's awesome.
Yeah, he's one of my best buddies.
Yeah. Ken is a crazy man. His staff's going to kill him one of these days with these birthday promotions. So I think.
Yeah, I know. I hear all about it.
Oh yeah, I got to get an interview with him sometime. We're going to have an interview with him. Okay, well, George, it's been absolutely awesome. We are definitely going to have you back because I want to talk all about Blackheart and some of the stuff. And you were telling us a couple of stories pre-show.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to have you back at some point for an interview. But we really appreciate you and the rest of the folks putting this on for the community. And we're going to get this out at our next show, and we will plug the hell out of it. And hopefully we get an awesome turnout.
Yeah.
Before we go, can I give a shout out to the other folks who are doing this?
Please.
Absolutely.
Lynn Stahl. She's with Metalhead Minis. She's a miniaturist, phenomenal painter, and she's the one she's one of the driving forces behind Adepticant.
Okay.
And she kind of cleaned all the Facebook stuff up for us with the pages and the group and all that.
Oh, nice.
And then Norbert Ostner is the moderator and creator of Resin Maniacs, another Facebook group.
Yep.
And they put on an online model contest every year.
Okay.
I think they do that like in the winter.
Cool.
And then Tom Grossman from Tag Team Hobbies.
Yep.
He's an Iwata dealer and sells all kinds of other stuff. Really good guy. Steve Iverson from Cult TV Man. He's
We know Steve.
Okay, yeah.
We've had Steve on. Yeah, Steve's a character.
Okay, good. Cult TV Man. And then Rob Madison, who is Monster Model Review on Facebook. On YouTube. Does great videos, covers the hobby, and he's going to be doing a cool event during WantaFest, a trivia contest.
Ooh, okay.
So neat. Yep. So those are the folks who have been instrumental in getting this going.
Very cool.
All right. Yeah. Well, as we say, thank you again for this interview, and I'm sure we'll definitely be talking again about your own business, but we'll also be talking very soon. It's going to be here before we know us. WantaFest coming up. So thanks, George.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
And as you can see, pretty exciting stuff. We're going to
what a great idea.
Yeah, the Scale Model Podcast. We're going to try and support them as we can. We're going to hopefully get some interviews with the judges and maybe the winner just after
contest, wrap up. Maybe
part of the whole virtual thing. We're happy to support them. So I don't know if we'll call ourselves the official podcast of that.
That'd be nice.
Our friends in Kentucky might get annoyed. It's pretty close to them too, and you know Kentucky Dave.
All fair and
plastic Model Mojo. He's a lawyer by day, and he actually did the articles of incorporation for Wonderfest.
Yes, that's right. Way back when. Yeah.
But yeah, we're certainly happy to give them a hand and support them with this.
And anybody can, it's a $10 ticket fee. Anybody can, it's a pretty affordable. Can jump in on the contest, right?
Yep. And that's for the contest. It's free to check out. So yeah, you're not even paying an entry fee to get in. But there'll be a lot of links to a lot of different places, and probably a lot of the vendors will be showing up here and there, and there'll be some different ideas bouncing around.
They do have a vendor hall site, which is cool. So Goodman Models is in there, and all the usual vendors who kind of make Wonderfest their annual. One of their annual stops are there, so you can kind of see what they've been up to and what they're going to be promoting. There's always like new stuff coming out, right, and being sort of debuted at Wonderfest, so you get a chance to see some of that. And then there's the contest itself, which is always very exciting. So
and we certainly hope things will improve enough for the actual real show to happen in October. So, but until then, we have this. So this is really good. And again, we want to thank George, and he actually has a site, Blackheart Models. And again, they do some amazing figure busts in that. Okay, talking tools this week. We are talking about from Deluxe Materials, who we've talked about before. They have their Brush Magic. Now, this is one you use. I use something slightly different, but I've heard very good things about this. Tell me all about Brush Magic.
I love Brush Magic. It's great. It's it works really well. So it's supposed to be like a cleaner / restorer. And I was always sort of I guess a little bit unaware. I would just clean my brushes like in thinner, right? Lacquer thinner or whatever, and then put them away. But the lacquer thinner can be harsh if you especially have like a natural hair, like a better quality brush, usually
like a sable brush or something like that.
They're like organic. And this stuff is not only does it clean it out, but it's supposed to kind of leave it in a bit of a nicer condition, like a conditioner. And obviously that's a concept that's been around the art, like the fine art world for a long time, with the way that they treat their brushes, and there's like special soap and stuff like that, and then conditioners. Anyway, so I was intrigued by that. I went down to our local hobby shop, Roughdale, and ordered up a bottle, and it is great. And it's also supposed to like revive dead brushes. And I think I did test it. I have some like kind of crap brushes that I let them go or something, or I was using them for like pretty roughly for like dry brushing or
You were digging stuff in the
something.
garden, we know, with them. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And then I put them in and kind of let them soak, and they actually did come back to life and were like they freed up and the gunk came out. It was really it was very impressive. But so I'm washing I'm cleaning my brushes every time I do any kind of, and with my good set of I have brushes from FlexiFile that I really like, and a couple from Mung, a nice set, and a couple other little better quality brushes, and I always clean them off. And what I did was I made I took two old Mr. Hobby glass jars when I sort of from a done Mr. Surfacer, so they're a bit larger. They're, I don't know, 50 mils. You know what I mean? They're the larger size.
Yeah, they're the larger ones.
Bottle. And 40 mil bottles, so bigger than your average paint pot.
Right.
And I kind of labeled one as number 1 and number 2. So you do the first clean, and then you do a second clean and then you have like a step down. Right. So by the time it comes out, it's a little cleaner. So yeah, I think it's great. I think it really, the brushes look better. They're less frizzy. They seem to be keeping a bit nicer, and they obviously it cleans very well. So I was blown away. I think it's a great, wouldn't do without it.
And that's the thing. Yeah, you can spend big bucks on brushes or not much on brushes, but it's one of the more important things, especially if you make a good investment with brushes and you take care of them, they'll last you almost a lifetime.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed here, because Deluxe Materials is a great site for their products, so we included the link to that. Yes. Some people use it also, they'll soak their airbrush parts in it and stuff like that. So
that's interesting. Well, I don't know if I would waste it on that.
Well, people with decanted or whatever, maybe you need a shot through or something, for some people. That's what they'll do. So it's £10, 25 pence in England.
Okay.
Do you remember how much you paid for it here?
Yeah, I think I paid I want to say between $15 or $17.
Yeah, so that's very reasonable. Yeah,
and it's
last
still
you a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I filled up. I'm gonna say, so my 40 milliliter glass jar here, I only have quarter of an inch deep in both pots. Let's say I have a half an inch of depth or so, maybe 3/4 of an inch of depth. And so when you do that first rub or run through, and then it comes a little dirty, I wipe it off and then go into the second one, and it's a bit cleaner, and then the brush comes a bit cleaner. But I would argue too, even if you have cheaper brushes, I would think that the same principle, that the better you treat something, the better it's going to work for you.
Very much so.
Yeah, and I bought that, I'm sure a good solid year ago, and I mean, I still have like a full jar.
And their products are great. I know the model railway guys like some of their track cleaning stuff.
They have tons of like scenic material too. Is produced by,
I have the liquid gravity we've talked about.
Yes.
So they're very good. And I'm seeing them more and more in Canada and North America. So they are really expanding. Years ago they were primarily a UK based, but they are definitely expanding through the dealer and stuff like that. At some point I'm hoping to get the owner on, so I'm keeping my eyes open there. But and they vend a lot too, so they're all over the place. Like they were planning obviously to go to some of the London shows in England. They were hoping to go to the annual Toledo show and RC Expo, but that didn't happen. And the next time, Scale Model World in 7th and 8th of November. So if that goes on, we'll see. And they were hoping to go to Nats, but I don't think that's we don't know yet. But anyway, we'll see what happens. So we'll go from there. So definitely.
Like everyone, right?
So you're saying it's definitely a 2 thumbs up and you recommend it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love it. I think it's great stuff.
Good stuff. Okay, let's go with what's on the bench, and we're going to start with you this time.
Sure. I got to update mine, but I am so close to finishing the Quincy Rowe Moscato Hobby Models kit, 72nd scale. It's so great. It's huge. It looks amazing. I've pulled off all the masks on there's like a dome sensor and like a blinky eye. I mean, it's not blinking, but it's lit, and it just turned out really well. I'm super excited about that. I finished painting. I ended up painting, cutting stencils from the decals.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah, and then painting on the markings, and it went really well. It's the first time I've ever attempted that.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I really actually, it was a lot of work though. Like it didn't.
Well,
It
you know what you
just
can do.
come together quick, right?
You know what you can do. A lot of people. There's a Facebook group. A lot of people buy these craft stencil cutters that the card
Mhm.
makers and
Oh yeah.
paper makers use, and there's a whole community behind that. So
Yeah.
if you're into it a lot of people are getting into that sort of things for making stencils and masks. Because again, there is nothing better than, you know, a painted
Painting
on
on.
insignia. Yeah. And they look
It,
good because we were in the hangout on the weekend and you were showing myself and you were showing Mike from Plastic Model Mojo,
yes.
and they
Yeah.
looked really good.
It turned out really well, and I learned
Yeah.
something very interesting because obviously when you're cutting a mask, you're taking all the negatives, right? And then where you're going to paint is the positive space or whatever.
Hmm.
Or is that correct? Is that
Yeah, you got the
that's what
idea.
you want. So I had to go backwards a little bit because I realized that when you put
Hmm.
on the mask, you cannot see anything, so you can't align
Yep.
stuff.
Yep. You gotta be
So
careful.
what I realized, the method that kind of became apparent to me was that I went back and I hadn't destroyed the the positive piece that
Right.
I was cutting out and removing. I kept those, and then I just stuck those on because
Yep.
I made them out of Tamiya tape,
Right.
and I stuck them on, and then you could see, all right, I need to line this up this way, or they look symmetrical or whatever, right? And
Mhm.
then I just applied my mask over top of that, and then
Excellent.
peeled that one out of the center, and then I
Perfect.
knew I wasn't gonna get any nasty surprises because I put it
No.
on. I thought I have no idea where this
No, it
thing
looked good.
is.
It looked good. It
So it
looked
worked out
really good.
great.
And yeah, it turned out well. And you were starting on something that was fairly simple too. It wasn't too complicated. It was a good large piece. At least the piece you showed
Yeah.
me, the headpiece, I guess, or
Well,
the round ones with the stripes.
they were, you know what? Stripes are tough. It was
You got to
really
line them up.
challenging.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah, and it's tough to get them symmetrical.
Yeah, yeah,
And it stripes along a curve, like a really
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
serious. So
Exactly.
they were harder than they appear to be, but
Well,
I got them in the end, and I'm really
that's the
happy
one
how it
thing I
turned out.
always find. Like people when they have to do, let's say, a pinstripe along a bomb, the front of a bomb, where the
Yeah.
cone is, it's more
Yes.
difficult than you realize because it isn't a straight line. It's a curve.
No, it's a
Yeah,
lot. It needs
yeah.
a lot of
A lot of
massaging
attention
and
and yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But good for
Yep.
you.
So I'm
Awesome.
happy with that. That project is coming to a close, and then right behind it is another Moscato hobby model spec build, the 148th M72 Gabriel Heavy Infantry Unit. I'm doing the Murdoch Red Desert scheme.
Oh,
And
okay. That'll
that
be
is, yep, that's coming along. I don't want to show too much of that one yet because I'm doing some videos on it.
awesome.
It's
Awesome.
coming.
So that'll be cool.
Yeah. And how about you?
Okay. Well, I actually got the 1/72nd scale VF1A Valkyrie. It's done
Excellent.
in the display case. I think I posted some pictures already on the website
You
on
had a review?
blackfire.ca. I think I did. If not, I'll have to do that. The Edouard Spitfire decaling and the final little bits, which always seem to take forever, are
Mhm.
underway. That's one thing I've realized with both of these kits. I'm terrible in the last 10% of the time of the build because
Of
at that
course.
point, it's like you just want to get it done, but you got to be careful. So I'm
Yeah.
at the part where, for example, I'm doing, the decals, some of the stencils. I worked on the landing gear last night. And now it's like kind of like, okay, what's the order I want to put everything on? When do I want to put on the landing gear? When do I want to connect the propeller? Stuff like that, doing some fine tuning. So I'm basically at that point. I'm just looking at it now. It's all decaled up
Uh-huh.
pretty well. I'm pretty happy with the number of decals. I didn't put every little tiny stencil because
Yeah, there's a
again,
lot.
if I don't see it from 5 feet, I don't care. So yeah, it's basically at this point it's going to be the propeller. I did the masking for the canopy. That went not bad. I might actually have to do a little bit of hand painting on the canopy frames, the
Yep.
touch-ups. But
Okay.
this is actually the first Spitfire I've built where the little side access door is open and the canopy's open. And it turned
Uh-huh.
out fairly well. I might do that on the next 48 scale when I build as well. So yeah, so it's coming along. So hopefully by the end of the week, that one should be done. And
Mhm.
then the next one I'm starting, which I did the video in the inbox review, and I believe it's about to go either on or it's going to be up soon, is the 148th Italeri A4 Skyhawk. So
Nice.
this is the one. It's an much older kit,
Yeah.
Raised panel lines galore, but again, it's a nice size for 148. The Skyhawk's a small aircraft.
Yes,
But
it is.
yeah,
It
looking
is.
forward to getting back into 148. So this is the Reeboks roughly from 2008, but the original mold's much, much older.
Really?
But yeah, it comes
Interesting.
with a bunch of, you can make it as either an EF or a G. Comes with 3 Navy decal schemes or 1 Australian Navy scheme. But I think I'm going to do a what if. I'm going to take
Really?
I'm going to take the Australian Navy scheme, paint it up like that, but then I'm going to find some maple leaf roundels and do a what
Oh,
if. What if we bought another aircraft carrier and then we bought Skyhawks to serve on it?
cool. I love the
I'm not,
Skyhawk. I like
yeah,
it.
I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one to come up with it. I've
Yeah.
seen over the years in the IPMS Canada magazine, RT people, other people have done it.
Mhm.
But yeah, no. So yeah, I did a full-on review. Again, it's not a huge part count. Yeah, the mold was originally made by Esky. It's from 1979.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So it's been, it's basically just some new boxes, sometimes some new decals. It's been all over the place. But again, it's not bad. It'll build up. I know there's better ones out there, but like for
Yeah.
example, the cockpit I think is only 6 parts. But gives you
Oh.
room to
Huh.
gives you room, but it'll be a good simple build, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy doing the what if, and then the rivet counters can't criticize. I could say, what
Sure.
do you mean? It's a what if? It didn't exist, dude. In
Oh,
my
as long as you're having
universe,
fun with it.
it did have this many rivets.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna build that,
I like
and
it.
then I usually have 2 on the go, and I haven't decided what I'm gonna do next. I might actually go back to the Shelf of Doom. I've still got a couple on there.
Yeah.
Maybe the Lancaster, but again, it depends how much I enjoy this 148 because I still have some 135th armor. I've got an awful lot of 148th World War II stuff
Oh
with
yeah.
some aftermarket like the Yahoo instrument panels, and I got a lot of
I gotta
armor.
try that.
I got a Gundam I got to build,
Ooh.
another Gundam, that other one. So
Yes.
yeah, lots of choices, but I try and keep it to 2 at a time. So we'll
Good
see.
for
So
you.
that should be.
Discipline.
I'm trying. Well, I just don't have the room. And the
Yeah.
problem is you start doing it halfway because what else is on the oh, the RNLI Life Severn class lifeboat. That's a Shelf of Doom classic.
Oh my goodness.
That one could be an epic. That was an older Airfix one, and
Yeah.
it really became frustrating. So it's lucky it didn't end up in the bin. So that one I need to revisit at some point. But between that and then of course, I drew and I didn't draw the short straw. We joke about that, but I'm the president of the local IPMS chapter, so we're trying to organize some virtual stuff there.
Yeah. Excellent.
With the members, we still do our Grey Butts hangouts on Wednesday night. And we do a podcasters hangout in the weekend usually. So keep them busy. Work's keeping busy as well. So exactly. So that's about what's happening. So
Excellent.
we're just about done then. So is there anything else you
Hmm.
want to talk about?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, we should point out we have an awful lot of content we've recorded this month. It's going to keep us going for quite a while.
A lot of cool stuff coming up, and
Yeah,
I posted a hint on
Yeah, I
our
saw that.
Facebook page.
Yeah, you look good.
Of
Look
cool
good. A lot
stuff
of
that's coming up.
reactions. Yeah,
Good.
so that will
Yeah.
be cool. So we're looking forward to it. We're still going to stick with the every 2 weeks just because we're both rather busy.
Yeah.
Not like our friends in Kentucky and Australia. I don't know what they're doing. They must do nothing.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe
Just
no.
ball all day
I
and
don't know.
record a
I don't know.
podcast.
For a podcast,
We work in between each episode. It's a lot of
apparently, yeah.
effort
Well,
to get
apparently
us
these
together.
guys say they work too, but who knows?
It's a lot of work to make it look
I
so
know.
effortless.
And apparently, of course, our friends in Australia on the bench, they've been having to meet via Skype or whatever because they can't all meet
Yeah.
together. And
Oh my.
we keep moping because these poor babies, they're missing the fact that Dave's wife Michelle, they have a tradition. They record on Saturday mornings over there. So what they do is Julian and Ian normally go over to Dave's place, and Michelle cooks them all up a gorgeous breakfast apparently. And
Oh
then
my
they
goodness.
record. I know, and we've been
Wow.
complaining about that.
Wow.
But
Boys.
apparently, if we're ever down there, we have a standing invite, so that's fine.
Yes.
So that's fine. We'll one day take advantage of that. So
Yeah.
okay. So don't forget to. Did we have any sites or tips? We didn't this week, so we'll just leave it.
I didn't have
We'll leave
anything.
it for another week. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So as always, don't forget to subscribe and let us know if you have any comments or suggestions at scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com. We currently record bi-weekly, and it's available where your favorite podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher. as well as at the website at scalemodelpodcast.com. If you enjoyed the podcast, please consider leaving us a nice high review. It does help to get the show out to more potential modelers. We also do a lot of extra video content and complete episodes on our YouTube channel, and that includes our new Bench to Bench series. And as I say, there'll be an episode 2 will be dropping there pretty soon, if not tonight, then probably tomorrow. We're recording this on Tuesday, the 12th of May. Like and subscribe to our Facebook page, facebook.com/scalemodelpodcast. We also have a Patreon page, and be an awesome person like our latest supporter, Chris Stark did. Feel free to support us there. Part of the benefits of subscribing not only is the wonderful, warm, and fuzzy feeling you have by supporting us, you do get extra video content. And so, for example, as I said, Bench to Bench, you get to see that a week before anyone else does. We also give exclusive prize giveaways and awesome prize giveaways for our Patreon only draws. This week's draw is a public one, but normally we do that.
And I'm gonna drop a hint. Sorry to interrupt you, Stu. We have some awesome prizes coming up. And I think the next one is gonna be Patreons. It's not gonna be micro, it's gonna be Monstro.
See, Anthony says it's Monstro, so I would take him serious. So as always, for more modeling podcast goodness, check out our friends in Australia at On the Bench, and you can Google search these, or our friends Mike and we call Kentucky Dave at Plastic Model Mojo. Right, Anthony?
Got it.
Mojo, I got it. And check them out as well. These guys are great. They always have new modeling fluids they're trying. So I learned so much about good Kentucky bourbon. And again, we're all three podcasts. We're really good supporters of each other, and we love the different themes they have, and they always have some really cool stuff they're working on as well.
Absolutely.
I know Mike at the moment. He's working on catapult planes.
Yeah, this is what a neat tangent to get off.
Yeah, he's got that.
Go down.
He's got that White Ensign photo etch set, and I know he's been working away at like little grab handles, and he made a jig for that. And better man than me. I would go cross-eyed with that much photo.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Exactly. Well, as our good friend Julian says, photo etch is apparently your friend. So,
yes, that's Ian's catchphrase, though. I don't know.
Ian. Did I say? I'm sorry. Yeah. Julian always says, "Buy
he
more
likes tools."
I can agree with that as well.
Get some super sanding blocks.
Always do that. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for this time. Please, everyone, stay safe. We're at least in Canada, we seem to be flattening the curve, but we're certainly not out of the woods yet.
No, so keep your distance, wash your hands,
keep your distance, support the hobby where you can. Always try and support your local hobby shop, etc., etc. And we will talk to you guys in roughly about 2 weeks. So for the Scale Model Podcast, my name is Stuart Clark.
And I'm Anthony Goodman.
Thank you, and be well.